Our featured guest of the evening, Sister Darnisha, who is on mute and I can't hear what you're saying.
Who is on mute and feverishly trying to put the last few slides in here.
Ah, I
Had a
thought
little
I only did
complication
it.
this afternoon. Of all the afternoons for me to lock myself out of my car, today has been that day. So
There you go. Yeah,
I
that's
show
the way,
up ready by
that's
the
the way,
time we get going.
that's the way it happens. You know,
That's all right. We're gonna make it anyhow.
yeah, that's
Did you call AAA?
Oh yeah. That's why I'm back here.
oh.
I am back at home. I was at the library tutoring some children when that came about.
Well, that sucks.
That's all right. It's gonna work out just fine.
Yeah.
I know
So
you'll talk and entertain us and stuff for another 5 minutes, I'm sure.
let's start at 5:05. Let some more people come in, and yeah. So I heard that they dropped a couple of charges from Trump. They dropped 3 charges. So now instead of having 91 charges, he has 88 charges. That's the guy you want as the president. Yes, indeed. Oh, wow, who's this coming in? All right. It's enough people here. Let's see. Do I have a... Yeah. Oh, my old friend, Sue Ann Berry Freeman. All right. That's great.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right. Mom and Gina is here. Yeah. Get her name in here. All right. You know, with all this AI art, I made a little video which has some AI art. I really like this. You know, there's various apps that you can get to create these things, and people have been really creative. right. So I just wanted to give our guests a little time. What do you guys think of that? Have you been seeing that art? That I really like my background. I have some of that. I think it's really,
Beautiful.
yeah, yeah, really good.
Very inspirational.
Yeah, indeed. All right, Ed, I like it. Yes, indeed. All right. So, Mama Darnisha, Sister Darnisha Wright took a trip to South Africa, and people have been wanting to know about her trip, wanting to know what happened. How did you get there? And give us all the particulars. And how should we visit South Africa? Go ahead, Darnisha.
All right. Well, thank you, Jose family, for having me. Always glad to be with you all. I'm going to apologize in advance that this is a very rough presentation because I just had some complications this afternoon. The real issue is that I put it off too long, but we won't have to go there. So last month in February, I spent the first 2 weeks of February in South Africa. Let's see. I spent the first 2 weeks of February, Black History Month in South Africa. I went with a group called the Brioxy Black Land Sovereignty Fellowship. It's a very incredible program that I feel very blessed and honored to be a part of. And it takes 70 individuals or organizations between the cities of Baltimore, Maryland, and Oakland, California. There are 40 individuals or organizations from Oakland and 30 from Baltimore. All of the organizations have to be doing something that is innovative, that has to do with land and Black people and Black sovereignty. So it's really incredible to be in a space, and we meet every Wednesday. And we learn about each other's projects and receive instruction on various things to help us be successful. The purpose of the trip was really to just bring us all together so that as a group that we could bond and that we could have a better understanding of each other's projects so that we could figure out the best ways for us as a group of 70 to link arms and try to get through some of the hurdles and be successful as a group, recognizing that, you know, we are much stronger together than we are apart. So of the 70 individuals and organizations, 30 of us converged upon South Africa for a few weeks for this incredible experience. So this is just a piece from Brioxy that they're empowering transformative innovation. They stand for, Brioxy stands for Fostering Autonomy and Collaboration in Local Land Management, and shaping the future of community spaces through shared stewardship and exploring creative approaches to community-led land use. So I can't say enough about how incredible I think Brioxy is in their boldness in saying that we are here exclusively for Black people. That is the only reason that we're here. And we are going to make sure that we do everything we can to push this group of Black folks forward. We say that at Jose all the time, but outside of Jose, it's kind of rare to find yourself in that kind of a room. So it was a long ride, about 21 hours. Here's a little video of how starting here in the West Coast, went on to Atlanta, had a couple of hours layover, and then a very long flight across a lot of water, right into the southern part of Africa. So that was the trip. When we arrived, this top picture here is the group, you know, all of us staging our luggage and such, and then just a great big old group of folks, you know, going through the airport, and we had to get a trailer to carry all of our luggage. And then we are then headed on the freeways towards Johannesburg. Johannesburg, as you can see, even from the freeways, you know, very modern, very much like anything that you would see in a metropolitan American city. There's a big difference between South Africa and Ghana. So this was kind of a typical, you know, and I show you these three things just to show you how Americanized, Europeanized, and that the areas that at least I stayed in, Johannesburg, was the place that I stayed was called Rosebank. The picture on the left is the Rosebank Mall, which is like the big feature of Rosebank. I've never been in a mall probably I spent more time in a mall during those 2 weeks there than I have spent in probably my entire adult life. Because unlike the malls here, these malls are very active. There are very, very nice restaurants all through these malls, like 4-star restaurants. So people really go out to a fine dining experience at the mall. And the malls are also amongst the places that people consider to be really safe, because people really scared me about South Africa. Don't have anything in your hand. Don't drive, almost like in Oakland. Don't drive with your purse or anything valuable in your car because somebody will break your window. They kind of put that kind of fear in you. Don't walk down the street, on your phone ever. But when you're in areas like this, you're perfectly safe. You can have your phone and your things out because there is so much security that nothing's going on at these places. I pointed out here that inside the mall, they had a crypto cash machine inside their mall. I don't even see this inside malls in America. And cannabis is legal in South Africa. So this picture of one of the many cannabis clubs that we saw in South Africa.
So can I ask you, so this crypto, so how does that work?
It's a machine that you can go and put cash in and buy crypto currency, or that you can go in and put your codes in for your crypto and sell your crypto through this machine. I was not willing to try it in a foreign country, but it's in a very, upscale mall in a very nice area. I'm going to assume that this is a pretty, legit use, because, the world is going crypto and South Africa is rather advanced. So you don't see this type of thing in American malls, but this is, they're ready for the next, they are moving into the next, phase of technology, probably much faster than we are. The dining. If I go back to South Africa, I'll tell you guys more about how I really felt about some of the social and political things. But there is no doubt that I've enjoyed the finest dining of my entire life. And I'm a foodie. I'm a foodie and I'm from the Bay Area. So I've indulged in many fine plates, but never so fine as those that I have indulged in South Africa. Everything was just beautiful. Everything was plated perfectly. Everything was served perfectly, at least perfectly according to European standards. Wine was paired perfectly with your food. And as you can see, beautiful setting. You could be easily in San Francisco or New York.
Now, it looks like you're having sushi. Is that?
Let's see. This stuff on the left, it was some kind of fancy stuff. I don't know, some type of it might have been a chicken, or I don't know what that little black stuff on the black plate is, but I'm just showing everything is beautiful. On the right, that was my meal. It was line fish. I don't know what kind of fish a line fish is, but that was one of the most delicious pieces of fish that I've ever ate in my life. And then just an example of the desserts, nice desserts, beautifully plated, nice fresh coconut on your ice cream. And they do have sushi there. I didn't eat sushi there, but they do have sushi. They got a good lot of Indian restaurants there. I had a good meal at an Ethiopian restaurant, but any kind of fine dining you could imagine in America is there. More of the fine dining. So this was one of my another wonderful experience. You can see the two chefs. This is the head chef here, and this is the chef in training. She's in chef school. She looked like she's about 10 years old, huh? But you can see, I just loved like her intentness, and she was watching him. You see him with, they take the little chopsticks and place everything just so on your plate so that it is beautiful when you receive it. So it's both delicious and it's a visual piece of art. So this is just an example of just how the beautiful plating and how excited I was to feel like I was at a real Iron Chef, except all the Iron Chefs were Black and young. And the food was delicious. So this is a not a safari that we went on, but it's a reserve in Johannesburg. So really, it's kind of like a very glorified zoo. None of these animals that you see here, these are many of the big five, but none of these are wild. None of them are like out hunting for anything. They know what time the food comes. You know, we scheduled our drive-through based on feeding time, because they all know what time the food comes, and they put the food out and the animals go, and you get the show of them, you know, devouring whatever it is that they've put out. But white lions, oh, I didn't touch that. White lions, zebras, the wild dogs, rhinoceroses, and I believe this is an impala up here.
All right. So hopefully, by the time we get that side, the rhino's actually on the roof. That would be nice to get them up close. But yes, on the right there we have our rhino as well as our African buffalo.
Wow.
Only if you stand up, and that'll be amazing.
So lots of plains, lots of land. So this is a place called Meboning, which is a neighborhood that used to be kind of a slum, but has now been kind of transformed and gentrified and turned into kind of a fancy club party strip. But this is also another of those areas where everyone warned us, be very, very careful, you know, with your phone and all of that. We did see 2 fights outside the window on this block. One was apparently someone spoke to someone's, you know, girlfriend, and that didn't go over well. And then another, I was told that someone was actually trying to pickpocket someone or steal someone's phone, and they caught that person and they whooped his butt right there in the street. So this is what the street looked like at night, kind of like a party time in the club. This was some people from our group. A lot of hookah. You can see them, you know, all the clubs have hookah. So they're all filled with smoke. We were there on the day of the football championship, one of the championship games that South Africa was winning. So here, the club and the game. So they love their they love their football there. We were there during the football championships.
Africa Cup.
Yeah, the Africa Cup. So South Africa did pretty well, but they ended up getting out of it before we left as well. Ghana was eliminated.
I think Ivory Coast won the whole thing.
I think it was Ivory Coast.
And football is actually soca.
Well, that football, it's football over there.
That's right.
What are they playing? They're playing football.
They playing soca.
It is soccer in America, but there it's football. So, and then they had this was, I think, on a Sunday night. They have what they called it Sunday school. So that was Sunday school in South Africa there, that game night. So this is one of the pictures that I put on the internet. There's load shedding in South Africa. So you would be in the club and then everything just goes dark for a minute. Often places have generators and the generators will kick in, you know, pretty quickly, 20, 30 seconds. But this is one of the nights where the hotel was dark. But that bright building is the Anglo-Saxon De Beers diamond building. So as you see, there was no load shedding at Anglo-Saxon De Beers. I think they got a big diamond or something in the bottom of it, probably running it all. And this was a exhibition at an event. So this was one of my best experiences in South Africa. We went to Yaleville, which is one of the ghettos, one of the places that they would probably advise tourists not to visit unless you have an invitation. We went to Chef Sansa's place. It's called the Yaleville Dinner Club. It's a very exclusive dinner club that, you kind of have to know some folks or connect with him and get reservations well in advance. He sends drivers to pick you up from your location and bring you there and take you back. And it was quite an experience. All of what I saw was very clean and American-like, but this was one of our first times to actually get to see how the real people were living. So here's a video of as we were driving to his place.
This is my house, not your.
A lot different from the Rosebank area, right? So these are like kind of public housing type buildings, I think.
This is your van.
This is the area they told us not to be coming in without no escort.
What's it called? It's called Yovio. Yovio? Yovio.
So notice the fences in front of these places. Look at the height of the fences. You can see over them and you can see through them. That was one of the things that really bothered me, because in the nice areas, when you go to the white neighborhood, you can't see anything because there are 12-foot high fences and razor wires on top of everything when you are not in this type of a neighborhood. Oh, let's see. So this is from the balcony. The restaurant is up above, so we ate on the balcony. These were two other people from Oakland. This is actually Mama Zakia, who is an Iliamide parent. And then this is how you eat. When you make a reservation, it's just this great big old table, and there's another room for overflow. But you might have a reservation for two and you just fill the table up. So it ends up being, lots of people who don't know each other at the same table. In this case, we had the whole restaurant. We had enough people to fill the whole place. So it was all our group. This is a picture of my plate. I can't remember everything, but it was all so delicious. It was like lentils, there was chicken, there was this incredible fish, there was this slaw, coleslaw. This was eggplant. These, I don't know what you call them in Ghana. They're called bofrot. They're donuts. So I've come to realize that apparently every African country seems to have their own version of a little donut. Rice, some okra. Everything was just delicious. Everything was just flavored just perfectly. You didn't need to add anything. He had this incredible, all the African countries apparently have their own good hot sauce, this great hot sauce that went on everything. The week prior to us being there, what's her name? Solange dined there the week before us. Anthony Bourdain has dined here. He was good friends with Anthony Bourdain before he passed. So this was one of the highlights of my trip. And if I ever go back to South Africa, I would probably make my reservation for dinner first and then buy my ticket. So this is Chef Sansa, and this is our whole group here. Ooh, what a face I was making. And then I'll play a little of this. He's telling us about the food. It's kind of long, so I won't go.
Migrant folks here, Congolese still eat by themselves, Nigerians eat by themselves, and the Igbos, and what is then I'm a South African up there, vandalification of the food. Why can we not all just break bread together? You know, and a good friend of mine, Anthony Bourdain, tell clever white guy says, wash your hands, keep your left hand at the back, tuck in, greet everybody, don't even ask, be nice. That's how we make community. And surely you got it right, you got the script right from who we are and where we come from here. I've enjoyed the help of Malaika and Eli. Eli, it's my associate now. Right there.
Oh, sorry about that. I was trying to pause, but Eli, the guy who helped, he is a chef. He's a local chef from Oakland. And this is part of like why they brought us together. One of the things that I had a challenge with was I had been given a big old budget to do an event for Fulbright Association for Black History Month. However, I was in South Africa, having a good time instead of planning an event. And I was able to connect with this brother who was an incredible chef, and he pretty much saved, the day for me and provided the food for my event. So I was able to plan my event in Oakland while I was in South Africa. And that's part of what this is all about, making those connections. Let me get to the part where he will. Okay, he's telling us about the food here.
Not a jollof rice, it's not a biryani, it's not a pulao, it's not a chili John John. I've just learned of this Haitian rice dish that is made with black mushroom above. All these rice dialects of cooking, they're all in here. Stolen saffron, some toasted coconut, and then the rice comes from Gino, man, it's called broken. Some of our aunties have tried, say, I would rather have broken grains of organic rice than from the continent, rather than having a long grain, shit Uncle Ben's rice. So this is good rice, with the toasted coconut and cane, and it's vegan. We make.
I won't go through all of the food, but he describes it all and it's all delicious. And he pretty much tells us, everything that's in it. So I show you this video to show you the level of security. It really was bothersome to me, the security. This is the hotel that we stayed at, and it was right down the street from the mall. And we were pretty much covered by security at all times. So you walk down the street and let's see.
Security on the corner there.
There's the hotel
Halfway
down
down the
here,
block.
security at the hotel,
And security at the
security
hotel.
halfway down the street for us walking to the mall. And then when you turn the corner, at the mall, there's another security here at the corner. And then when you go halfway down the street before you get to the mall, which is actually in your eyesight, there's another security guard. This is what the fences often look like. I should have pulled this back so you could tell how high this is, but you can see the fence is up above the line of the roof, right? So that tells you that it is clearly a very, very, very high. It's not a fence, it's a wall. And so this is what I saw everywhere. You would see the top of the roofs of these places, and then you see the razor wire, and there might be a break in the gate so that you could see a little bit of the estate and the grounds and the architecture, but just a very quick glimpse, because all of the nice areas that majority white people or Black people with money stayed in had these 12-foot walls with razor wire. It was very disheartening for me. I wanted to see what the places looked like. This is when we went to Soweto. Soweto is still, the ghetto. That's still where there are Black people at. We went on a bike ride. Those are the famous towers. You can go and bungee jump from between those towers now. You can see all of Soweto. We're up on a hill, and that's Soweto down below us. And then we all went on a bike ride. The people here at the place were really happy to be working with us and to have this group of 30 Black people. It was actually more than 30 because there were some extra people. So there's like, 40 Black people doing group stuff. And the Black folks, the Africans here, were really happy to see us because very few groups like ours come through. They cater to Europeans. So this was our bike ride. Here, oh, did it go away?
Yes.
Here comes the goats. Here comes the goats. Hello, goats. You would be so much better on a skewer. So on that bike ride, this was probably one of the most moving parts of the trip. Again, they didn't really prepare us for it. We thought we were just going on a bike ride, but we ended up at the square where really the end of apartheid started, where children protested against the colonial education that was being forced upon them. So all of the children skipped school and went and protested. Those children were met with armed officers with live rounds, and they killed a lot of those children. So here is one of the children that was killed being carried. This boy who carried him was never found. He wasn't even a part of it, but they assumed because he became famous from this photo, that eventually that young man disappeared, and he has never been found since then. So it's emotional going back over it now. It was very emotional then. Like we all thought we were just going on a bike ride, and then they tell us this story. And for me, I was pretty young when all of this stuff happened. I had to kind of reacquaint myself, with the story. But this definitely was a touching part of it. Another incredible part of the trip was the Soweto Music Jam. So that's another thing that I would plan my next trip around, is making sure that I was there on a Tuesday so that I could go to the Soweto Music Jam. It's a little hole in the wall club in the eastern part of Soweto where all of the local musicians jam. So the young lady in the middle here was actually one of the people from South Africa that was a part of my group. She's an artist and a singer. So just incredible musicianship, every instrument that you could imagine, singers, horn players, just incredible music. So this is I went on a real safari. Real meaning that the animals here are not at all caged. They're all living completely in the wild as they would in nature. And I took this video because when we came, we stopped at this first place because we could see the hippos were out in the water. So, we're in a truck, and, we're looking over the side, and we're looking at it's like 3 hippos that are in the water. You can kind of see it through the picture of the water there. But this nice peach woman here, she decided that since she was doing a self-guided tour, you have the option of doing a self-guided tour through through the park in your own vehicle, but you are told not to get out of your vehicle. And, they have this sign here that tells you that, you're responsible for any death, injury, or illness suffered if you decide to go play with these wild animals. Well, this woman got out of her car, and she was down there at the water side taking pictures of the hippos. The hippo is like the most vicious animal in Africa. And the driver saw her, and he was alarmed. So he told her, no, you need to, come from there, go get back in your car. So I recorded him telling her.
And this one was red finger.
She says, really? She was right at the water. Like, so And then this is a young lady, Angel from Baltimore, who joined me on the safari. It was an overnight safari. They came and picked us up at our hotel early in the morning. It was about a 3-hour drive to the park. Got to the park and we went on a ride. We went on a sunset ride, and then the next day we got up the next morning and then went on another ride in the morning where we were able to see all these different animals. So we saw pretty much all of the big five except for the lion. The lion was the only thing we didn't see. In this picture at the top, this is a aerial view. It's probably from space that shows you the park, the that was formed from a meteorite hit. So you can see that round indentation, and that's what this park is inside of. Just some more pictures of the various animals that we saw. At the hotel, the monkeys were, all over the place. They weren't on my back porch, but this was somebody else's porch where they had, left their champagne and stuff. And I think the monkeys were about to go have a drink. Rhinos, elephants. This is the name of it, Bakubong, which is the people of the hippo. And in this place, it was a very, very beautiful space, very beautiful room with these big open double doors that opened up to the watering hole outside. So very, very nice. The Apartheid Museum, these are just a few of the signs there. The white man is the master of South Africa, and the white man, from the very nature of his origins, from the very nature of his birth, and from the very nature of his guardianship, will remain master in South Africa to the end. I pray that I see a day that that's not true. That day is not today, though. We've never experienced any difficulties in distinguishing between Europeans and non-Europeans from a parliamentary debate. So just that they're very, very, very conscious of the colors there, and have
But
been
that
working.
I'm sorry, that was done in 1950.
Yeah, I was there last month though.
I know, but I mean, this sign was made in 1950 when they were there and controlling everything.
Right,
And
but I'm
so
saying
this
I was there.
museum,
I was there last month, and they still are.
you think they still are?
I was there last month, and they still are.
Okay, I would like to know what examples you have of their still being in control.
I never saw a single white person in any service position the entire time I was there, not cutting any grass, not driving a cab, not a single white person served me a piece of food, not a single white person worked at a hotel behind a desk. I saw no white people doing any service. All service I saw was by Black people.
And what did you see for white people?
I guess they was behind them big walls with the razor wire and the armed guards. I didn't try to go past them.
That would be for the museum.
No, I'm talking about the country. But this is my perception of the country, not just these are items that are in the museum. But my point is that, in my opinion, white people still run South Africa. Black people are not running much of anything there.
Did you talk to people at the embassy?
No. I'm sure the government people are going to say what the government says to say, but I did talk to a lot of poor people who live there.
Okay, and they said that they were controlled by white people?
Yes, that the white people are still in charge.
Okay.
You saw what Soweto looked like? I mean, you can Google this stuff. It's all there. It's all, there to be seen. And I am certainly skewed by my perception. I will state that from the beginning. I certainly have my own, this is my presentation that is based on my experience and my thoughts and my opinions.
Okay, thank you, sweetie. This is wonderful though. I'm really appreciating this.
So we took a 3-day trip over to I keep wanting to say Cape Town. And this is Table Mountain that is in Cape Town. One more memorable experience. We took a hike. We took the Platte Cliff Gorge route up to the top. So we started, way down there, on this road here is along here is where we parked, maybe over here, and then we hiked up to the top of this mountain.
How long did that take?
The young people did it in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. People like me took about 4 hours.
Hmm.
And they kept sending little people down to tell us, oh, they're up there waiting. I said, oh, that's good. I'm not moving no faster. But there were about 4 or 5 of us, mostly kind of the older folks in the group that took a bit longer. So maybe I took maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours, and then
Let them wait.
yes, they had no choice because you couldn't leave us and I couldn't go down. All you could do was keep going up. So it was very exhilarating though, because it was taxing. I didn't realize that it was going to be so much. But once you start doing it, it's like a personal challenge. And then, you look back and you see such beauty, behind you. We started at just as the sun came up. When we finished, it was quite bright and hot.
What's the name of the mountain and where is it?
Table Mountain.
Table Mountain. Okay.
Table Mountain, and it's in Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh.
So it's the highest point there. And it's one of the new 7 wonders of the world. So that view, beautiful view here at the bottom, that's the view from the very top. And then we took a tram from the top back to the bottom.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so that was as just breathtaking. Breathtaking, assuming that you could catch your breath, right?
Darnisha, Brother Damani asked, can you ride a cable car to the top? Oh,
Yes,
no,
you can.
no,
Yes,
he
you
said you can. Yeah, he's
Oh
saying
yeah, you can.
he's been there twice.
Yes, you can ride a cable, but then you don't get that, bragging rights and the exhilaration of, pushing your body to the furthest part of its limits.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's something to be said for that. Yeah.
So this is the picture of all, and everyone in the group did not take the trip. And there were several elders in the group. I think they did. A few of the elders did take took the tram up. But this is all of us who did finish the trip. So this is one of my favorite pictures because I call it the goats. They are the greatest of all time, but we really did look like a bunch of black billy goats up along that wall. We were all just sitting and people were laying out on rocks. It looked like a bunch of beautiful little brown goats all along the mountain.
Mhm.
So I swore that I would not participate in the tattoo party in South Africa, but how often do you get a chance to get a tattoo by a beautiful, young, talented tattoo artist? So there's my souvenir, my permanent souvenir that I brought back from South Africa.
Darnisha, Reverend Armstrong asked, when are you going back?
I don't know if I'm gonna go back. I'm still thinking about it. Like I said, I love the food and I love the luxury of it. The politics, I still, got a little issue with. So I don't know. Like I said, when I go back, it'll probably be going back because I'm taking some of my foodie friends and we'll probably go on a foodie, trip. I have no plans for anytime soon. Unless I talk with a number of folks there also because like, what do they put on their tattoo after they're done? They put Vaseline on it. What's the number one thing that they use for their skin there? Vaseline. They don't use shea butter or cocoa butter. They use imported American Vaseline. So I have a vision of infiltrating that market with something much purer and much healthier for the people's skin than the Vaseline. So
Wonderful.
so the spiritual people in South Africa are called Sangomas. They're, the medicine people, they are the spiritual people, they're kind of like the catch-alls. So the sister to the left, I'm sorry, I do not remember her name. I have it written down, but she is a Sangoma. And she came to talk with us about that it was on a Sunday night, on a Sunday morning, I think, Sunday afternoon. And it was the same day as the tattoo party. So everyone was kind of in this jovial kind of party mood, you know, everyone, there was music, everyone's getting tattoos, you know, people are drinking. And the end of it, I kind of walked downstairs and I noticed that she was doing something. I said, oh, let me experience this. So I sat down. She, you know, immediately said, oh, you know, you need to take your shoes off. So I took my shoes off. And she continued to do libation and do some ceremonial things. And then she just stopped in the middle of what she's saying. And I'm the last person to enter the room. I didn't have introductions. I didn't even really know what I was walking into, but she points at me and says, what's happening with your children? And many of you know that I've been going through some very serious things with my younger son. So I nearly started crying. And then she completed the what she was doing with us, and she asked about 6 or 7 of us to come and do some additional work with her. So we moved to a little bit more private place. And what she told us in that place was that she said she hadn't really wanted to come and work with us today. She hadn't had enough time and she wasn't really prepared, but she said Spirit told her to come and that she's glad that she came. She says, though, like we were one of the most intense groups, she said, that she's ever dealt with. She says, you Americans bring so much pain. There is so much pain in this space. And then she continued doing prayers and kind of doing some ritualistic things. And then she just stopped and she just started sobbing. She just started just crying uncontrollably. She just said, like, I feel the pain. There's just so much here. And then she continued through that to kind of go through each person in the room and kind of, you know, tell them what their issues were, including naming that two of the women who had problems, had challenges and had lost children and had actually told one of them how the child was lost. So everyone was quite emotional by the time it was all done. So she told us that she was a part of a music group. And I'm sorry, you all, I needed another hour to get all these details for you because I'd like to tell you the name of the group. But she told us she was a part of a music group from South Africa. And it's like the South African version of Sweet Honey in the Rock. They're very, very popular. And it meant nothing to us at the time because we had no context to put it in. But she says, oh, it's Tuesday night. Oh, it was a Tuesday. She says, I think I'm going to have to come on Tuesday. I'm going to have to come and perform tonight and get some of this emotion out. She says, I can't promise you guys, but I think I'm going to come tonight and perform just to kind of heal myself of all this emotion. So this was her at during the daytime. So when we were at the club that night and I saw her in this form, I almost didn't recognize her. I was like, is that her? I don't know. But then the performance was so powerful. I was like, yeah, that's her. So this is how she released herself from the Americans that night. So I'm going to go to the end here.
Oh, wonderful.
So that was an incredible night. And all of the music was of that caliber. So one of the things that I was
Can I
blessed-
just add something real quick?
yes, ma'am.
There's some of you I know have heard of Lady Smith Black Mambazo. That's a South African group that has gotten a number of Academy Awards. They're performing this weekend at Freight and Salvage here in the Bay Area. Lady Smith Black Mambazo.
Thank you. Maybe you can put it in the chat for folks.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
told you, yes.
So this is one of the special things that I was really blessed to be able to participate in. I didn't think I was going to be able to pull this piece of the trip off. I was able to slide over to Zimbabwe in Zambia for a day. So we flew out of Johannesburg and flew to Zimbabwe because I was so close to another of the 7 wonders of the world that I did not want to miss that. So this beautiful sunset picture, we took a sunset cruise on the Zambezi, which is the 4th longest river in Africa. And it's the river that feeds Victoria Falls, which is really Mosi Al Tua, I believe, because they changed the name of it. When Mr. Livingston came, he rechanged the name. Mosi Al Tonya is what the locals call it. Well, some of the people in my group were staying in a very, very nice place in the Zambia, but after the dinner, I decided that it was really important to me that I needed to stay someplace that was owned by Black people and that I had my fill of seeing non-Black people for the day. So I needed to sleep somewhere where everybody looked like me. And I talked to the driver, explained to him my desire, and when he picked me up from the cruise, he took me to this place, the Nkandaba guest house. I was the only guest there. That was my little room back here in the back. I had the entire pool to myself. And it was just a wonderful experience. And when we went to Zambia, our luggage was lost. So everyone was a little stressed out because they didn't have their luggage. But I decided that I was like already there in Zambia on a hope and a prayer, and that I just refused to let lack of luggage mess with my stay. So I went and bought myself a $10 dress and was blessed to find this nice little place where I was able to go in the pool without no clothes, in this beautiful, in a beautiful little room all to myself. So went against the grain, and it was the right thing to do. And so here is my 1-day excursion. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Victoria Falls, Mosi Altunya. Welcome to Mosi Altunya. Yeah, I said it right. So the exciting thing that I did while I was there is I tried zip lining for the first time. So there I am zip lining across the Zambezi.
Wow.
Started over on the Zimbabwe side, zip lined all the way over to the Zambia side, and then
Were you scared? I mean, with
not really. I mean, I felt pretty, secure, they have you strapped in, pretty well.
Mhm.
If you hit the water, you won't die right away, but you better hope there's no hippos around. But I was not really afraid. It was just exhilarating. It was like flying. I felt like I was flying like a bird. They tell you to just kind of relax, put your feet back. And, once I kind of got the swing of it, like I was twisting and turning, and because I wanted to see, it's just such a beautiful view. The waterfalls was over to the left.
Sure.
And you
So
can feel them too.
you could feel them when you were standing on the ground. You could
That's
definitely, the water is hitting you, the spray is hitting you. By the time we finished the walking tour of the falls, I wore a raincoat, but you would be soaking wet if you don't have a raincoat on.
Or a swimsuit.
Yeah, you can have a swimsuit on as well, but whatever you have on will be soaking wet on both. if you don't have plastic on top.
Mm.
So that was very, very fun. There is something called the Devil's Punch Bowl that the lady I zip line with, she said she tried the Devil's Punch Bowl. I said, no Devil's Punch Bowl for me. I will take your picture. And the Devil's Punch Bowl is there's like a little indented space like around in this area here of the waterfalls where you can go and jump into that bowl. It's a rock pool, and it looks like you should be falling over the waterfall, but you don't because you're in a little rock pool. And people take these pictures like hanging over the falls with one of the people holding their feet. And I was like, well, what if they sneeze? What if a bird poops on them? What if they have a heart attack? No, that's not for me. So some people will do that, but you won't find me in the devil's pool.
Darnisha, can I pause you for a second? So Reverend Armstrong put a question in the chat. Reverend Armstrong, you want to just ask your question directly?
Maybe he's having
But well, what he's saying, he says, is there any similarity between South Africa and GH and Ghana, I guess? Is there any?
Yeah, yeah.
Nope.
Okay, I just see it.
Nope.
I was asking, is there anything? There's nothing.
Nope.
Is there any similarity?
Nope.
Everything is quite different.
Very different. Only
Wow.
let me see. What can I say was similar? No, I mean it's just completely different. Like the place that I stayed at in the Rose Bank, I had a wonderful time. It was beautiful, but they call it Little America. It's like being in America. I had everything I wanted, all of the conveniences, you use your credit card, your debit card. The streets are all perfect. There's no dirt roads. There's no there's no vendor selling anything on the street. You're not buying nothing in your car. Like in Ghana, people are selling you stuff on the street. It's just vibrant. People, there's food and none of that. It's like being in America. There's nobody hawking things on the street. Even when I went to the market, I thought that would be, like an African market, but the market had more white vendors than black vendors. I kept picking up things saying, oh, I like this. I want it. Then I will look up at the person selling it and be like, put that down. Even with my tour, the tour that I booked for Zimbabwe, I had a little attitude when I had prepaid for it and the person called me on FaceTime to confirm the day before. And I kind of had an attitude, like, why are you calling me on FaceTime? Send me a text message. But in retrospect, so glad she did because she looked like she was a blonde woman from America. And she sounded like that. And I answered all of her questions. And then when I hung up, I got right online and I canceled that. And I called my friends and said, who are those black folks that you guys took the tour with in Zimbabwe? And I called those people. And that's who actually ended up doing our tour, but I had to go through great pains to make sure that I was dealing with Black Africans as opposed to Afrikaneers. So yeah, I found very little similarity. I didn't eat, I ate a little bit of local food. We went to a dinner with the safari, and that featured some local food. We had some local food after the bike ride in Soweto, but I like food and I really like to get to know the local food of places that I go, but it was very difficult there for me to, access any local food because people aren't selling food and stuff out on the streets. So I found very few differences. People ask me, where do I like better? So, because I don't want nobody to think I'm talking about Ghana. Where would I want to be? Where am I going in 2 weeks? Ghana, not going back to South Africa. But, things like the first time I went to Ghana, a lot of the people in my group were so frustrated about service. They would wait until they got hungry and then go to a restaurant and could not understand that it was going to still take an hour and a half for the food to arrive. And then they would get that great big American attitude about it. There's no issues like that in South Africa. You go to the restaurant, they're going to seat you right away. They're going to bring you the menu. They're going to present it to you. They're going to speak, tell you what the specials are. They're going to tell you what wine they suggest. When they pour the wine, they're going to pour it from the right side with the arm, with the cloth over their arm, and they're not going to spill nothing. It's like being in America or Europe. Now, maybe had I had a friend and I could actually have went and stayed in Soweto for a few days or stayed in Yaleville for a few days, but the experience that I had, it was nothing like Ghana. It was like America.
Yes, it does make a difference. And also, the tourism in a lot of nations like South Africa are controlled and managed by Europeans because they're the major groups that visit there. But you can establish, your cultural groups, if you like go through the embassy or somebody that knows somebody else there. So
But
I
it
know
takes
that
some
really
effort.
makes a difference.
It
Yes.
doesn't fall in your lap. It takes some
No, it
effort.
doesn't.
You need
Mhm.
to really, if you want to go to South Africa and you want to patronize your own people, you need to put some thought into it or know some people. I have a friend who does travel business here in Oakland, and I suggested to her, I was like, that's an idea, an app. People
Mhm.
in South Africa who only want to deal with Black people, it would be great if you had an app. Where can I go get dinner? Where can I go buy some clothes?
Mhm.
Which one of these vendors at this mart, which one are, the best Black artisans, in town.
Mhm.
But it took some effort to be able to do that.
And you made a lot of efforts. I appreciate that.
I definitely tried to make some efforts, but at the same time, like I said, I'm a foodie. I was looking forward to picking my 4-star restaurant every single night.
Mhm.
And I had some great food. It was not African food, but that does not stop it from being excellent. I had some excellent food.
Mhm.
And I believe that this is pretty much the end of the formal uh, presentation once we came back from Zimbabwe. Um, Pretty much that was near the end of the trip. Some of the other things that we did was we went on a winery tour. I was a little, I wasn't all that pumped about that. When I went,
Mhm.
I was excited because, I like wine. And in South Africa, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get some South African wine. But then once some of the locals explained to me the situation, it's the same situation as with the vineyard workers here in America.
That's
It's
right.
it's the worst job possible, except there they are working on their own land that people have stolen from them and now got them working on it, paying them a little bit of nothing, so that they can sell affordable, good wine to white people that come to South Africa or us Black people who can afford it. Most of the Black people that are there, the normal average Black people, they can't afford those restaurants. They can't afford any of that stuff that I did. But I was there as a privileged American, and I accept that and I understand that. I was there as a privileged American. And as a privileged American, not a problem. But for the people who actually live there, they can't afford, any of that stuff. They're all underpaid. The reason that I was able to have that 4-star dinner with a Michelin rated chef for like $30 is because all those people that was serving me was not making what they should have been making. And that's how I was able to have that 4-star experience with the Michelin, star chef for 30, $40, including, wine pairing with all 4 courses.
They do have some Black wineries there, just like here.
I've
You
married
just have
many.
to know. You just have to know where they
You
are.
really gotta,
And
that's what my
that's
point
what
is. It's
you have
not
to
that it
really
doesn't
try.
exist, but it's hidden. Like you gotta
Mhm.
really, what's in your face and what the average person is going to patronize is
Yes.
not us. You
Yeah.
gotta really make an effort.
Mhm. Mhm. And when I saw that Mosi Otunya, as you call it, as they call it, I can't remember the translation. It had something to do with clouds, the water clouds, or something like that.
The smoke that thunders.
The smoke that thunders. That's it. That's it. Yeah, that Mosi Otunya is really something. Mhm.
It definitely deserves to be one of the wonders of the world. When I looked at it and, you look at it, you feel that rumbling, the spray is hitting your face, your
Mhm.
eyes are taking in this
Mhm.
incredible, visual beauty. It was a quite all-encompassing experience of beauty. And, you can't help but say, of course there is a God. I am not Arabic, but Allahu Akbar.
Mhm.
Any
come
other
back with-
questions or anything? I have, I didn't put everything in the slideshow. If there's anything in particular that anyone wants to see, we think we've got about 20 minutes, maybe.
In addition to Soweto, did you visit any smaller areas or areas with um, a cultural base that would invite visitors?
Only Yaleville was the only other, you know, all black, neighborhood, which was really, kind of a what we would call a ghetto, was the only other place that I went to. And again, it is like they strongly caution you against it. Even the people in our group who actually live there, strongly caution you against just going out and wandering, around in places. Even when we went to, I arranged for us to go to the jazz club the second time, but I had to arrange drivers for everybody that we had pre-arranged to take us and already arranged to pick us up, because the drivers and Uber and all that, they won't come into Soweto after dark. So if you go into Soweto and it's light, you end up there in dark, you have a problem. So you have to have that already prepared to get out of Soweto at midnight. Let's see, the other place, well, Yaleville, where we had the dinner, that was one of the clearly a down to earth, regular class neighborhood. That was the only place where I also saw people. I saw a lady in the street with the Julius Malema banner wrapped around her, which, really showed me like that's the only political something that I saw was in Yaleville. And this lady, she was wrapped in the Julius Malema uh, flag, who I think Julius Malema is incredible. I pray that he stays alive, because he's saying things that are pissing folks off and he is not biting his tongue. And I just hope that he continues speaking.
The room that you stayed in for the night, was that a part of a private residence? And what was the room like? Was it just a bed, or what else was going on there?
Let's see. Let me stop the share and I'll show you. But it was a very nice room. It was owned by a Black woman. Am I still sharing?
No, no.
It was owned by this Black woman, who I talked with on the telephone. It was not a private residence. It was like a room in, I don't know what you would call it, a guest house. It was a guest house. Um, and I had a really big room. I'm going to see if I could pull up a picture of this beautiful room that I had. A nice room, big, bed that had, um, the mosquito netting and stuff around it. My TV was good. I was able to get, CNN. It wasn't, the Marriott with everything, absolutely pristine and shining, but it was very clean and safe. And the pool was beautiful. It was just a beautiful night. I took that over the Livingston Marriott any day.
Okay, thank you.
So, and I'm just about there where I can find these pictures and show you what that room was like. Is there
I
any
have
other
one other
questions?
small question. When you finish.
Okay. So let's see, share screen. So you see that?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, that is a nice room.
The regular old kind of Africa bathroom, a toilet
Right.
and a shower and a sink.
Lots of towel.
Let's see, where else? That was pretty much it. But yeah, it was nice. I was very comfortable there. Now, if you guys look up, Google the Livingston Marriott, and now that's a whole nother something. It's like a whole, it was beautiful. I saw pictures of it and it was absolutely beautiful, but I would not regret not being there. I'm gonna see if I can find a one where you can hear the thunder here. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Mhm.
Mama Keisha has her hand up. Go ahead. Go ahead, Keisha. You should go ahead if you're able to. You have to take yourself off mute.
I'm sorry, I thought I was off mute. Thank you so much for your presentation. And I'm just wondering if there was anybody else in your group who that felt the same way you did about patronizing Black folks and going into Black areas.
Yeah, most of them. Remember, this whole group was a group of people who are dedicated to doing business only with, for specifically Black people. So, I was not the minority in my political thoughts. Thankfully, it was such a diverse group that many of the people in the group did have personal connections. And so we were able to utilize those personal connections. So like I bought my first ever custom made designer jeans and shirt, which was someone's friend who, they referred me to. Someone had a friend who does books. I bought the most incredible set of books for my granddaughter. They're augmented reality books. They have all these beautiful brown images. There's books on community, on foods, on communication. There's like 6 different kind of books, and you download an app on your phone, and when you point your phone at the book, it like reads it to the kid, and a picture kind of jumps up on your phone that makes it look kind of 3D. And you can go in the app and you can change it to whatever language. So it's got like 6 or 7 languages that you can, have a kid read in. I've never seen anything like that here, certainly not with brown, images on it. So there were a lot of people like, the tattoo artists, those were friends of the people, who were there. So we made quite an effort. Most of the people there had connections, and that was just kind of the political leaning of the group. But if you weren't paying attention, and if you didn't care about that, there was a lot of opportunity to spend your money with folks that did not look like you.
Thank you.
When you were in Zimbabwe, did you find it the social situation there is similar to what you found in South Africa, whereby whites still in control and running things?
I can't speak so much for Zimbabwe because I was there for such a short time that I really wasn't there long enough to make too many assumptions about anything other than what I saw. And again, when I went to Zimbabwe, what made me decide that I could not stay at the Livingston Marriott that night was, one, when I left from the tour office and got onto the bus that was taking us to the Sunset cruise. Me and the sister with me were the only Black people on the bus. So I immediately felt some kind of way just walking on the bus and looking at them. They weren't all that friendly. They weren't, So I said, okay, but I was in this mood where I was like, I'm just not going to let nobody mess my trip up. Like, I'm here and I'm going to enjoy it. So I just kind of, I just went past. But then it's weird. Okay. But then I was on the boat and I walked up the stairs, like from the restroom, and there was this couple at the top of the stairs. It was this Black man with long locks, young, and this old wrinkled white woman. And I said, hello, how are you? And the Black man, hello, sister, how are you? And the white woman looked at me just as crazy as she wanted to and set her little wrinkled jaw and didn't say a word. And, you know, I kind of got a little bit of a temper. It kind of started to mess with my little hairpin. And I said, remember, you're not letting these people take your joy. This is your joy. And I ignored her response, and I went and sat down and took my phone out and texted that black driver and said, remember what I said about I might need to sleep with some black people tonight? Please find me a black owned place to sleep, because I do not want any more white people once you pick me up from this boat. And he did that for me.
Yeah. My quick question, and actually I have two of them now. Did you have any follow-up with the spiritual group that that you all had in South Africa?
I have her contact information, but I've not yet reached out to her, just because I've been so busy upon arrival. And, you know, in any country, generally no spiritual advice is free. So you always got to bring your checkbook with that.
Mhm.
So I have not yet followed up, but I do intend to.
Mhm. And my second question is, you know, there are culture groups from different nations in Africa that are right here in the Bay Area. I know there's a strong Zimbabwe group that does dances all around. And they perform, you know, Berkeley, all over the Bay Area, and they performed all over the world. And the same for South Africa. They do have some businesses here. And it would be nice, you know, if we could have some special event, you know, where we get an opportunity to share their experiences, and, you know, to make a real cultural connection, you know, to the Zimbabwe, South African cultural experiences.
Well, count me in, Auntie Afua. When you organize that, I will be there.
You want me to organize it? Okay. Yeah, I'll try. I'll try.
Speaking of Zimbabwe, I will post that. I will put the link of, and I think I sent this to you before, Darnisha, a while back, but we may have talked about it. But with it's an organization that is run by well, the executive director is a former ambassador, Dr. She's from Zimbabwe, but she takes our people all over the world, all over throughout the continent, similar to what you all are doing there, Darnisha, for us to come together and you know, continue building our legacy. But I'll post the information in the chat. It's ADDI, ADDI.org. And yeah, because they're having a meeting. Actually, it's coming up this Saturday, for anyone that wants to you know more about it. But you would need to go to the website that I'll post, or I'll, you know, put the link in there, and then you could have them send you the email, because they just came back from South Africa. They went to South Africa. Well, they've been all around the world, but she's actually a physician from Zimbabwe, and she actually lives in on the East Coast as well. I think they're in DC, but she takes people, you know, to and around the world for the purpose of, like I said, continuing and reclaiming our legacy. So I'll put that information in the link, ouraddy.org.
And just a quick advertisement. There is still time to sign up for the June Ghana trip. So that is still on. Have about 3 people, and would love to have at least 3 or 4 more. So if anyone is interested in that, it is not too late to join that group. Yeah, and I personally, with South Africa, I really didn't want to go to South Africa. I wasn't real excited about this trip at all. I really didn't have much desire at all to go there. Just because in my mind, I figured I knew apartheid was it was too new. Like, they've only, you know, been free there for 30 years. So I knew that the chances of remnants of that not being visible were unlikely. So I kind of went there kind of with the attitude that I did the first time I went to the Deep South. And it was kind of the same feeling. Now that I likened it, that my first few days there, I likened it to the South. I felt like being, you know, like you feel like when you're in the South. where, yeah, people are free and things are even and in theory, but it's still these people over here have all the resources and, these people here don't. And the people with the resources smile and pretend to like the people without the resources, but really they mad that they have anything. And the people without the resources are still working for the other people and don't have the things they need and are a bit resentful about it. It reminded me a lot of my feelings the first time I went to the South.
The the acronym for ADDIE actually is it stands for African Diaspora Development Institute, and they're going to be going to Burkina Faso in April, actually. So, but once again, I'll post the information for the African Diaspora Development Institute in the chat.
Isn't there a bit of a war going on in Burkina Faso? Right
Well, because of Dr. Arikana and she has a book too that is, if you go on the website, you can find all of this on there. But she is a former ambassador. So she actually had the president, the vice president. Well, he's the general. Well, he's what is his title? Official title is he's general, and I don't recall his last name. But he actually was present when they just had the last Zoom meeting. So that's why this organization is really crucial, because you get firsthand information. And like I said, she's a former ambassador, UN ambassador. So her connections just are, she'll pick up the phone and make sure you have what you need or what we need. But yes, they did. And the general, he spoke, and they'll have more of that for this week's on Saturday's meeting. So if you're interested in knowing more about what actually took place and what's taking place there firsthand, if the president, or his title is not president, general, he may be prime minister. I don't recall what his official title is, but he's a general, very young brother too. But he will have, if he's not present there to speak on Saturday, then there will be somebody from his staff that will be at least 2 or 3 people, of his staff that will be present on Saturday. So if you go to the link that I'll be posting, and you have them to send you the email for the Zoom meeting, which is going to be Saturday morning.
now. Any other questions, family? We've got just a few minutes.
I don't know if you can hear me. Anybody can hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. Hey, I just want to just chip in this, a vision that I saw about Darnisha's trip to Ghana coming on June 9th. There were people from Wuse who were part of it, and especially, I don't know if we have Wuse president, but the man with the beard, white, who always asked the questions. I saw you being part of that group, and there were actually there were actually 7 people who were part of Darnisha's trip to Ghana. I passed on that message to you, I think, a couple of months ago, and it just came to me again. So I think the right time for Wuse people to make a move to Ghana. It's right time for you all to move to Ghana, have an experience in Ghana as well. Yeah, it's really gonna be a great experience for you all. And I really also want to meet what you call I'm trying to mention your name. Was it Hotel HOTP?
Minister
That is
Imhotep.
what is
Wahota saying.
what is it?
Wahota saying.
Mehoya pa
Mehoye.
mehoya
Mehoye.
mehoya yesunti mehoya pa. So
Madasipa.
right. So we don't know who are those 7 people who will be chosen, but I have a vision that 7 people join this trip coming with Darnisha, and it'll be good for you all to just join her and see what the motherland has for you in Ghana here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. I want to thank Mama Darnisha for coming and being our guest today.
Yeah.
She had some difficulties outside of this presentation, but she pulled it together. I saw a lot of great comments in the comments. We're getting ready WOW is about to take over, but I want to play this video in honor of Reverend Armstrong. Is he still there? Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
This is for you. This is for you, brother. This is for you.
Thank you. Okay. Mm. Oh, Mandela. Okay. There, J.J. Rollins. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. That's you. Mm. That's Michael Jackson.
I'm not going to play it all, but I
Thank you.
just want to let you know we love Ghana and we love
Thank you. Thank you.
we
And
love
since you are showing those beautiful cloths, I will take time for yet another commercial.
all
My,
right.
I'm really trying to liquidate mud cloth before I leave. So my $300 mud cloths are like $220 now, which is very close to the cost, short of transportation. So if anyone's needing some mud cloth, I would love for you to take mine off of my hands.
Will you be setting up this weekend anywhere or?
I won't be anywhere. I am online, www.ubuntu1865.com. And those of you in Oakland are always welcome to come to my home.
Also,
I want some mud cloth. I'll be getting with you.
Cool.
do you have any Fugu shirts?
The Batakaris?
Yes, yes.
Yes, I have 2.
All right. Can you send me a picture? Will they fit me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
And always have plenty of shea butter. So I'm doing now a special on shea butter. Buy 2, get 1 free.
Okay, I'm on that
Oh,
today.
wow. Wow.
Shea butter's not discounted. Shea butter's not on sale. That's my bread and butter, and that's
Yeah.
my main product, and I have plenty of that. So the shea butter is not on sale, other than that I'm offering this buy 2 get 1 free.
All
It's a
right,
good shea
brothers,
butter.
we have to leave. It's now the time for Women of Wose. I'm going to make Mama Connie the host. And yes, thank you for waving. Goodbye. And we'll see you next time. Excellent tribute.
Yeah,
Excellent.
thank you, Mama Darnisha. Beautiful.